Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 32 of Jux, an all things sports podcast presented to you by Always Boolin. If you're with us on YouTube, be sure to subscribe, drop a like. We're up to 19 right now. We're one away from 20. And once 20 comes, then I'll tell you what happens. It's a little bit of an incentive, though. We got to hit 20, and then I'll drop the news for you. If you're with us on Spotify, be sure to follow, drop a rating. As always, thanks for tuning in. We'll jump right into things here. We got a lot to go over in a lot of different sports. We'll just stick with the usual format. We'll kick it right off with some NFL again. More betting scandals came out today. Isaiah Rodgers on the Colts. And then there was some more info to the JMO that Ham put in.
I wanted to touch on that.
Ham put in the chat recently. You follow football a little bit more, not that I don't. So I'll let you go ahead and take the lead on this train and run with it.
I read the JMO news like 2 minutes before we got on here. So what I'm hearing is he was in a hotel in a different state. That hotel was, I guess, bought by our team. So it was deemed a team facility. And this is all probably skeptical at this point. We can't say for sure that this is what happened. But I don't agree with the suspension amount of time if they're deeming this a team facility. I think we were all under the impression that he was like in the parking lot or he was in the locker room of the team facility or whatever it was where he didn't put up a fight legally to try to get these games back. But if this were the case, I think there would be a whole lot of a fight to be made with the definitions of. I obviously don't have like the contract that they signed for this kind of thing available to me. Well, maybe it is, but I don't think so. But I think if this is the case, JML got absolutely robbed. And now they're looking at Colts cornerback Isaiah Rodgers. Are they going down like a list of teams and just like, all right, one by one kind of thing? And we're like the Lions and whatever else other team were like first. Like, because if it's that technical and you're on like a 53-man roster for every single person, there should be a lot more suspensions. I'm thinking, right?
I mean, you sign up with your social security number. It can be as simple
on these apps.
Yeah, it can be as simple as the NFL requesting to run NFLPA. They probably got a list of everyone's social in the NFLPA. They probably hand that out to a couple of the big sports books and say, "Hey, can you run this quick? Let us know if there's any matches." It's that easy. You don't have to dig. It's very easy to identify who's using it.
Yeah, but like what? There's no way Isaiah Rodgers like bet between now and when the JMO and I guess the other Lions players news came out. So are they just like going through it? Like you would imagine all of like if they run these social security numbers all at like the same time, then there would be.
Well, they might not. They might not. I don't.
So that's what I'm saying. Are they going by like team by team?
They might be. Maybe they got tips. Maybe the sports books pointed out to them. Maybe the sports books are like, hey, we noticed. So it could be different sports books. I think there's a lot of factors.
What do you think about JMO?
I'm going to stick to my guns that I brought out the first time. I get it. It's silly. Team hotel, probably after a game. He's in the hotel room. He's probably just relaxing. What did they say? It was college football or something like that. Yeah. College. Yep. But there was no fight. None of these guys have fought these betting things. They get caught I don't think JMO was trying to hide it or anything. He probably wasn't. He was probably just in the hotel. He's like, well, I'm not at practice. I can bet other places. And that's another thing that can cause delays too. These guys are allowed to bet on sports in other places. So sportsbook might shoot back 1,000
GPS
players who've used their things, and then the NFL's got to be like, all right, what do we do? Maybe they pick and choose. Maybe they individually go through and look at all the locations. I don't know. But there was no fight. The NFLPA works for and sticks up for their players for the most part. They know the rule book. They know the definitions. These players signed contracts that agreed to these rules and definitions based on, number one, how quickly it was, boom, 6-game suspension. It wasn't like we're investigating, we're figuring, it was 6 games. That just leads me to believe.
You think 6 games is harsh? For what you know now?
I do. I
Regardless
think
of-
I think 6 games is harsh like for betting at a team facility, not on NFL football. 6 games is harsh. But again, it was quick. There was no deliberation. There was no fight. He didn't appeal the length. Nothing. It just
Okay, what if
leads
he
me
was
to
fighting it?
then I'm
Would
sure
that
there's
change
stuff that
your
yes,
input?
yeah.
Okay.
But I'm sure the angles have been looked at. I'm sure the definitions are black and white. I'm sure the punishments are black and white. Maybe it was like 1 game per infraction, and maybe infraction means bet. Maybe he plays 6 bets at the hotel. I don't know. But the NFLPA knows. JMO probably knows. No one's fighting it. Like you don't see Lions staff coming out and saying this is too much, this is ridiculous. I think with the state that betting is in, it's fairly new. It's getting legalized a lot of places. I'm sure it was a zero tolerance policy, and I'm sure it was either very clearly defined or very vaguely defined to the fact that they could be like, yep, boom, punishment, and it's vague enough that you can't fight it. If that, like, they blanketed it so much. Like,
Yeah,
any
that's where I
team
was
facility,
kind of coming into like the
anything sponsored
definitions.
by team.
Yeah, that's where I was like the definitions being that team thing being a hotel. Does the team have to purchase that hotel? That's where I'm like, okay, well, then now you're getting super technical where if the team had like a dinner or something and like not the Lions per se, but like anything like that. I don't even know what they were at the hotel for. I would assume some sort of organized thing, but
Yeah.
I think it's picky. It's so specific, and if this were to be true, I'd be very pissed.
Yeah,
Not
I-
at him anymore, honestly.
like I
I
said,
can
it's
see myself
new.
making that same mistake.
It's so new. Sports betting hasn't been around that long legally yet. So it's all new. And unfortunately, I think rules will get changed. I think they'll get a little bit more lax. And in 2 years, this same exact thing might happen to someone. Could be a 1-game suspension, might be no suspension. Unfortunately, the NFLPA needs things like this to happen to be able to be like, okay, that's ridiculous. Let's change it. I think it's black and white. There's no fight. Again, I don't know. You don't know. We don't have the rule book in front of us. I think it sucks. I think 6 games is harsh. I think it's awfully nitpicky. But based on the fact that no one's putting up a fight, no one's really speaking out against it, it just seems like it's going to be a lot of this, and this. And then the NFLPA will go to the NFL, maybe the next bargaining agreement, and fix some of these things. It sucks. I feel for you guys, but I think it's got to be black and white, or else you'd be seeing appeals. The Lions organization would be speaking out. Everyone's just kind of like, yep, sorry. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I just don't know if I'd make an argument based off of the lack of appeal. I mean, I think I and other Lions fans, for the most part, I guess there's a couple other teams involved, but it's mostly just Lions fans. Should be pissed. If this were to be true.
Why?
I think it can
Why
all be
pissed?
skeptical.
I get being upset, but it's they had to have known the rules. You have to know.
Yeah, but then it's like kind of questionable. Like, do you ask your coach or manager or team leader or whatever, hey, can I bet here?
Yeah.
At this moment right
Mhm.
now? I mean, I think the fact that he was in a different state at a hotel I think that's why we'd be pissed.
Hey,
Because it
DC, are we
doesn't
allowed to
win.
bet on this trip? No. Okay, cool. Thanks. The professional, they're getting paid millions of dollars. They got lawyers who read their contracts. You don't even have to ask your coach. Text your lawyer. Text your agent. Text your entire crew of people who are taking some of your salary and ask them for their opinion. I get it. It's dumb. People will listen to that and say that's a dumb take. I don't have to do that. You're right. You work in an office cubicle. You don't have to ask your boss if you can bet in there because nobody gives a fuck. But even a little bit of integrity spill on the if the NFL is just letting them gamble willy nilly during, it's got to be black and white because they need to uphold the integrity a bit. I think there will be changes to rules. I think they'll get less harsher. And I think 6 games is a lot. But you're an adult playing an adult sport and you're getting paid millions of dollars to do it. I don't know. You don't even need to be sports betting.
Yeah, but it's legal.
Yeah, a lot of things that are legal that you can't do at work.
All right, we won't get down that road.
I just I know it's frustrating, but
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think you'd be the same way if one of your like top receivers would have the same exact situation at all.
I disagree.
Well, you could say that now.
Yeah, no, I mean one of my top receiver did have this exact issue. He's out for an
Well,
entire year.
but,
Now
but
he bet on
bet
NFL
NFL
games.
games. And I
But he
guess I don't
wasn't
know
around the
where he
facilities.
was.
He was off in rehab. He wasn't on the
I don't even.
team.
He wasn't even on your team yet.
I'm just
It's not even close.
We'll
That's
see what
not even
happens to
close.
Isaiah Rodgers. You got other guys who got harsher punishments. Again, there hasn't been appeals. If the Lions or JMO or his agent or the Players Association thought this was wrong, they
That's
would
why I
appeal
think
it.
that's why I have kind of a doubt in thinking that this news could be fake because
And
I
that
think if
tweet
this were
also
to
said,
come out,
"My understanding is," which
yeah,
means he
yeah.
read something and inferred that.
If this were true, I think there would be some sort of a I mean, a little bit, maybe a pushback, just a little bit. but when
If there's
JMO
pushback
did
to be
go
had, they should do it. I agree. I think 6 is steep, but if that's the
when
rules,
JMO
those are
went
the
to the
rules.
media, and I almost felt bad for him, dude, because no one asked at all about football. They just asked him about gambling, like, how's your
Oh yeah.
leg? And I just felt bad. Like he honestly took every question really good, and I know Comp probably doesn't like his maturity level, but I think with everything that's happened, ACL, betting, he'll come back, and once he comes back, we'll know. I think he'll be really, really, really good, or not good at all. And it kind of leads into another point I have on here, is like a disagreement. Him and Jared Goff. I don't even know if it's a different disagreement, but I think Goff threw a pass and JMO ran the wrong route. Immediately, Ben Johnson ran out there and was like, JMO, this is what you got to do. He ran out to him, told him, and Goff was kind of like waving his hands or whatever. And so then JMO and Goff just like were apparently talking for quite a while, and that's a very abbreviated story, but I think you get the gist of it.
Yeah.
They were just they were on a different page, which is understandably so. They're basically he didn't get to practice with them last year until mid-season, and by that time you're kind of in mid-season form. So I think this is really good for JMO getting these reps in before the suspension hits. But today, another article came out and said that JMO was absolutely outstanding. And lately, I would assume this was the JMO thing was I think late last week.
So to add on to that, Dan Campbell says that Jared Goff is a better quarterback for the Lions than he ever was with the Rams. Do you agree with that, Trent?
I thought it was pretty interesting, strictly because of it's very it's hard to compare because they basically built an offense for Jared Goff, and I'm not saying we aren't at in Detroit, but that offense was insane in Los Angeles. Um, but the way he was playing at the end of the season, I'd say yes. But consistently, you have to be consistent to be a great quarterback. And I'm not watching at OTAs, or if they're still doing that. Is that what they're doing
I have
technically
no
still?
idea.
Okay. I'm not watching every pass or everything that he's doing, but he was one of the best quarterbacks during our last 10 games in the league last year. And he wasn't the best quarterback in the league when he went to the Super Bowl. It was just because of the team they built around him when they went to the Super Bowl with the Rams. Now, did he have a great year? Yes, but other years he kind of folded, and that's why I said we need to see a little bit more consistency to say that. But as of now, I'd say if he continues to do what he was doing with the Lions last season, yes.
Because he wasn't good 2 years ago.
I think it's hard to be good at a new team with
For
absolute
sure.
dog meat. I mean, that roster was really bad. I mean, we had Amon-Ra, I think, was he a rookie then?
Yeah.
Um, and it was just, I'm not saying he did bad or he did good, or I'm not trying to give him an excuse because he did do bad and he did play bad. And I thought we were just going to be, just a bad team for a while under Goff. But when he flipped it around, he really, really stopped the turnovers, which I think was huge when Ben Johnson wanted to stay. I think Ben Johnson and him and coaching and management, like Fred Holmes and Goff and Dan Campbell and Goff and Ben Johnson and Goff, they all have a great relationship now. So I think he feels a lot more comfortable, and maybe that's all it was. Maybe, I don't know, but I think he's really happy. I don't know if you saw that post with him all iced out with like Kirby's.
I did.
Okay, that was sick, and I think he's just way more comfortable than he was when we were like 0-10 the first year, and just like you said, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, absolutely celebrating when we win our first game. But I think if he does limit his turnovers like he did, yes, I think he is a better version of himself.
And I don't have a great transition for this, but off the Lions onto the Jets. Quinnen Williams still not signed. Jets optimistic that something will get done. I agree with the Jets. I think also it'll get done. I don't follow Jets football enough to know what their franchise tag situation looks like. If they can't just give him a franchise tag if nothing happens, or if he's not going to sign a tag, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you think he ends up back there?
Yeah, I just wrote it down. I think he stays with the Jets. I think it's going to be a deal where he gets to basically name his price kind of thing to a degree. And I think that's kind of what they're working out. They're like, well, yeah, but we can't do that kind of thing because of how much money they're already spending. I think he stays a Jet just because of I just maybe it's just in my bones. Similar deal at Oliver. I know he's a little older, but he got paid. I believe since our last pod, a lot of money. Maybe like 46 million guaranteed. I don't have it up in front of me, but that's a lot of money. Yeah, good for those guys on the defensive side.
And pardon me, D-Hop, Zeke still remain on the market. I know Lions are one of the favored teams to land D-Hop. Zeke has said he wants to go to a contender. He's already got the money. he can basically just pick where he wants to go. He'll probably sign a vet min, maybe an incentive-ridden contract, but I really don't think he's too concerned about that. I think he just wants to go win somewhere and help.
Oh, so you think he goes to a team to win rather than, yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no one's going to give him a bag because a bad team's not going to want him, one, for salary space, and they don't want to accidentally be good, especially if they're going for Caleb Williams.
Accidentally be good.
I don't know. I could see him going somewhere dumb like the Chiefs or the Eagles, a Super Bowl favorite on a vet min contract, and just be Zeke there for a year or two. I don't know. D-Hop, I really have no idea. I think he's still got it in him. I think he can really help out a team. I think he's going to bag chase a little bit, but I think it's going to be incentive-ridden. Do either of these two hold fantasy football stock for you, Train?
D-Hop definitely does. Top 6 rounds, I'd say, for sure. Depending where he goes. He's still D-Hop, and he did generate a lot. When he came back last year, I think that was a suspension for, like, PEDs or whatever. But I looked it up on my phone right now, and, like, it was a couple days ago. I think the Browns were plus 100, and the Lions are plus 400. Now it's the Bills back up to plus 200 on top. Browns plus 250 and the Lions at plus 380. We got a Twitter notification. I don't know who from today, but he's like visiting places like he's coming out of college kind of thing. It's kind of weird, but he's going to Tennessee to visit their organization, and I guess. See, I know. That's the same face I made. Why the hell would you want to go there? It's D-Hop. You want to the other 3 teams, like, and I hate to say it because people that don't like the Lions are like, oh, the Lions aren't in contention, whatever. The Bills, the Browns, and the Lions are much better spot than the Titans are, and he's going to visit there. Will Levis, Malik Willis. Oh, that's kind of a
Ryan Tannehill's still there.
Yeah, Ryan, what a room. That's just a disaster of a quarterback room. But I still think Lions. And I also said Browns last week. I said Browns, but I really think he's going to the Lions. The Lions have money. The Browns did drop an offensive tackle to free up like $2 million. Ham sent it to me. He's like very D-Hop move-esque to sign him. I mean, I agreed, but it still hasn't been done. I don't know if he just wants to go, traveling for his summer or his off season. I don't know what it is, but I would love him on the Lions. I think it would, even 1 year. I think it would just.
You only need him for
one.
one.
It would. Right.
You only need him for 6 games. I mean, you'll take him for the season, but.
Well, I think he would replace Chark, is like my understanding.
Oh, he's an outside guy for sure.
Well, yeah. That's the kind of player he is, obviously, but he's better than Chark. 100%. But I think he elevates what we have and then just makes it even better. Our offense would be unstoppable, I think, if we had D-Hop. Right now, with Amon-Ra being number 1 and the next closest receiver being Marvin Jones or Josh Reynolds. I mean, for 6 weeks at least, it does scare me a little bit. So let's spend some money that we're saving and go get them. That's my thought process.
Especially on 1 year, why not? Maybe he wants more though. Maybe he wants 2. Maybe he wants 3. NBA Finals are taking off. Series is tied 1-1 right now. Nuggets won the first one. Heat win the second. Are the Heat going to contend, or did they sneak one in? Where are you at with your original prediction? I think you said Nuggets in 6.
Heat in 6 is what I said.
Heat in 6.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where I said it's obviously the Nuggets, but everything in like one of those betting things where I'm like, it's the Nuggets, but I'm going to take the Heat because everyone's taking the Nuggets kind of thing. I mean, they're fun to watch, especially that second game. Fun to watch. Denver played out of their minds, or Heat played out of their minds, and Denver still only lost by like 3 points. But it was at home. It was in Denver, and that was their first loss at home in the playoffs. The Nuggets. So it's 1-1. I did post a parlay to our Twitter. It hit. Maybe follow our Twitter. Just a little plug.
Don't worry, I didn't bet it.
Nice. Well, that's why it won. After 2 games, we go back to Miami tonight, which I want to build a parlay again because I kind of want to for this game. But I think everyone's saying this, after the Miami 2 games, it's going to be 2-2. I think Denver also comes back and wins 1 in Miami, if not, I mean, a lot of people probably think 2, but Miami 1 game, Denver 1 game, going back to Denver 2-2 is what a lot of people are saying. I think likewise, I think it's going to be 2-2 after this.
I've still got the Nuggets in 5. I think Jokic is incredible. I think he got robbed of the MVP because, and I don't know, maybe it should be this way, but it went from, we got a lot of parity in finals now across all sports: Super Bowl, NBA, NHL, MLB. The parity in the finals has been phenomenal. MVPs, though, people voted for Joel Embiid as an anti-Jokic vote because I just don't think they want to see. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, it's like Shohei in the MLB. It's like he should win it every year, but we can't do that. You should. It's not most valuable player except the guy who won it last year award, or except the guy who won it 2 years. Shohei Ohtani is the most valuable player in baseball. Jokic, I believe, is the most valuable player in the NBA. He instantly adds minimum 10 wins to a team. No matter what. I mean, you put him on the Pistons, that were title contenders immediately.
We do need another center.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. Like, Cade Cunningham, Jaden, and Jokic, that's enough. Jokic is that good. He dropped 40 points in a loss. I think the Heat are that good. They're showing the importance of good coaching staff, good player development. Both these teams are really. Neither of these teams are going out and making splashes in free agency. Jokic was a second-round draft pick, built and developed in the culture. Miami Heat, guys like Duncan Robinson, Max Strus. They got a bunch of guys tied around Jimmy Butler because they got a phenomenal coaching staff. Bron wanted Eric Spoelstra fired from the Heat, and the Heat said, you can fuck off, and they let him leave. And Spo's still on the Heat, and Bron has yet to make another finals appearance unless you count a bullshit Mickey Mouse 2020 COVID year run, which was rigged. In the bubble, come on. I don't think it's all rigged.
2016? Or like
that was with the Heat.
Run with the War. That was with the Cavs.
The Cavs after he left the Heat, huh? Whatever, yeah. It doesn't matter. Fuck him. That was also rigged. It had to be a homecoming story. Bubble, none of the bubble titles count. I mean, Dodgers, they didn't win a World Series. Fuck that 60-game MLB season, whatever. I'm getting off track. These teams aren't by superstars. They're not trying to pair up the next big 3. They're not going after these Kyrie and KD and James Harden sweepstakes, trading away draft picks and future. No, they're just sitting back, building a team with a good front office and good coaching. Sure, you might not build a dynasty, but if everyone's trying to build a dynasty, it's going to be the well-coached depth teams that are put together well that win titles. Might not win 5 in a row. Might not win. You're not going to be the Celtics or the Lakers of the 70s and 80s. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be the Michael Jordan Bulls. Dynasties aren't a thing anymore, and people still try to do it. Warriors have been the closest thing since. And, I mean, they got lucky that Steph Curry turned out to be what Steph Curry was. And then they signed KD to an already ridiculous roster. Not to mention the phenomenal pick of Draymond Green, who gets so much hate, and he doesn't put the stats there. But the Warriors team consistently backs up anything Draymond does. He punched Jordan Poole in the face. The organization was like, yeah, Poole was being a little much. They know what Draymond means to that team because it's about culture. It's about fit. It's about coaching. I think both these teams have it. I think Jokic is the best player in the NBA right now, easily the most valuable. I think it's Nuggets in 5. I think you had to give the Heat 1. That's why I picked Nuggets in 5. I think the next 3 go Denver's way. We got Game 3 going tonight. Unrelated, we brought up dynasties. We brought up Bron's bitch ass. Love him as a human being. Hate him as an NBA player. He does a lot of good for the world. He's a good role model. Lives a good, clean, healthy lifestyle with a wife. Didn't fool around. Doesn't throw her in the spotlight to be ridiculous. But as an NBA player, I need him at. I need him gone. I need cameras, microphones away from the motherfucker. He gets out of the playoffs for 30 minutes and he flipped up his entire retirement story. The angle on that is what it was. He didn't go out of his way to bring it up. The reporters pushed him into it. I don't blame him for that. But also, and this one wasn't even Bron's fault, but the media will take anything they can to get clicks and views because it's all about one day of attention. If I get 1 million views on this article, boom, we're good. It's not about accuracy anymore. It's just about, oh, this is something. I can technically say it might happen. It's all speculation. Kyrie apparently reached out to Bron to, hey, come play with us. It's not going to happen, dude. He's done the Kyrie dance. Bron's too smart. Kyrie went.
What I thought was funny about that was the whole reason Cleveland died with him and Kyrie was because Kyrie wanted to go and do his own thing.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so funny. Dude, do you not remember 6-7 years ago when you didn't want to be with Bron because you wanted to be Bron? And now he's like, oh, come join this team that I've built, kind of thing. And I thought that was funny. I don't think Bron goes there. And
not a chance.
It almost makes Bron look a little bit better, like how you were saying, just because Kyrie started it. And now everyone wants Bron on their team. Or I guess not everyone, but Kyrie and I guess people will start to think with him and Bronny. That's coming up soon, but Bronny goes to USC.
Yeah, Bron's going to do whatever. I think he's got 1 more year left on his contract, so he'd have to get traded somewhere. And he's going to hit free agency, and he's going to sign with whatever team drafts Bronny. That's what's going to happen, and then he's going to retire. I don't know how much truth there is to how this came out. It was just breaking. Apparently, potentially, Kyrie reached out to Bron about. He could have said something like, "Yo, Bron, what's up? Ever think about coming to Dallas?" Or, "What are you thinking?" Dallas is on the table, wink face, joking around. They were teammates. They've been in the league. They're guys. I don't think Kyrie is actively trying to pitch LeBron to come there because I think you're right, Train. I don't think he wants him there. Maybe Kyrie wanted his name in the headlines a little bit. Maybe it wasn't Bron. Maybe Kyrie was like, what can I do to get people talking about us and the Mavericks again? The Mavericks actively tanked to get themselves into a chance for the lottery. It didn't work out for them, but they didn't want to make the play-in tournament. And they had Luka and Kyrie. They could have, but they benched. They sat. They didn't work for it. They knew what they were doing. They were intentionally tanking to get into the lottery to have a chance to move up. I don't think Bron is going to go there. I don't think Kyrie really had much. I don't know how much is behind that, but it's all talk. No one cares about Nuggets Heat, but they should because it's phenomenal. There's finally parity into the sport again. Everybody asked for it, but in reality, people just want LA versus LA and everything all the time now. Even though we beg for parity, they don't care. People want the superstars. It's obvious. It's what brings in the ratings. but I like the way it is. I'm having a blast with this NBA Finals. I've watched more NBA in the last 2 weeks than I have all season. And
So fun.
the NHL playoffs was fun until we got where we are now. Man, the Knights are just making the Florida Panthers their little whipping boys right now. I watched a little bit of the game last night or 2 nights ago, whenever it was, and it didn't feel like NHL Finals hockey, I'll tell you that much. The playoffs were phenomenal up until this point. Maybe it turns around. I think I had Florida in 5. Now that I'm saying it, it might be Knights in 4. They might clean sweep them. I hate that. I hate the Knights. Like it's so fucking dumb that a team can come in as an expansion team, and I've got to watch my team suck and get fucked by lotteries for 5 years in a row, and the Knights can just walk in, pluck 2 players, 1 player from each team, and then go on to win 1, maybe 2 coming up Stanley Cups. Obviously, that's cool if you're a Vegas fan. I get it. I'm just being salty because my team stinks right now, but we're on the turnaround. Trey, have you been watching playoff hockey? What are your thoughts so far? Finals hockey,
I watch
should
it.
say.
I do watch Stanley Cup Finals. I do watch it until it gets out of control, and then I'm like, okay, why am I watching this anymore? The last 2 games, I'm hoping that the next few games are not anything like those first 2 games, just because I do like watching good sports in general. I mean, I had Knights in 7, and it doesn't even look like it's going to go that long. I don't know anyone on either of these teams. I don't really know anybody in hockey. I just like watching it.
I can pull a couple names.
When it's close, I like watching when it's close, but like it was 3-0, 4-0 the other night, and
Yeah.
I just turned it off. I was like, all right, I'm not gonna watch this. Kind of just to finish up on NBA though, I did download 2K. It's so back. It is so back. I'm so back. Like I played 1 game, got an A+ grade. Like, oh my god,
Summer League Finals.
Yeah, it feels so good.
Yeah,
It
I
felt
sauced
so
up.
good.
I'm a
And maybe
6'9" point guard, Train. 6'8". 6'9"? 6'9" point guard.
that's like magic, right?
Well, I'm Lonzo Ball, Tyrese Halliburton, LaMelo Ball were my comps.
Well, I don't think any of them are that tall.
Zoe's not on his own.
Zoe's probably not playing anymore.
No, probably never again, huh? We play an all-star
My
team up
comp
after
was
this?
Wilt Chamberlain. Yeah, I cannot wait.
All right, awesome.
But back to hockey. If Chell was free, I'd definitely be playing that.
You
and
played
I'd probably
clubs
start
with
to
us
know-
once for a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay.
It's good.
Yeah, I thought so. Clubs is lit. And
Sorry to Brendan and Ham, but I don't know any hockey. At all.
I mean I know a little bit. I can spit some names out, and it's just it. And I'll be better next season. I vow to that. I'm gonna get invested in hockey because 2 of our loyal listeners I don't know how loyal of a listener Ham is, but I know Brendan's listening every episode. I'm gonna get better at hockey for our hockey guys. I am starting next season. This alone though, I mean, it's rough. The Knights are killing them, and I don't want to talk Knights too much because that's like Kangas and he likes them. So bleh. Let's jump into something I do know.
I didn't know if
MLB.
you wanted to go into brief golf and then finish with
I'm okay with either.
baseball.
I'm okay with either.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
And you take I mean, I feel like we got to touch on golf, and then
We
talk
do.
as
I
much
got a lot
baseball.
on golf.
Oh, okay. We could talk as much baseball as you want after golf,
So
because
you want to do golf first?
I think we should do golf first, and then we can
Lead us into it because I got a lot.
Okay, so I don't even know what to call it. Is it like a merger?
Yep, exactly.
Technically, the Live Golf and the PGA Tour merge. everyone's talking about it today. I don't really know all of the rules. I know we've been talking about it, but the PGA Tour, I think, is going to be exactly the way it is. But live golfers and what's the other one that merged with them as well?
It's like GP World Championship or something like that.
Some shit like that.
It's like
Doesn't
the
matter,
European
but
Tour and a bunch of other world events.
so they're all merged together now, and all of those players, from my understanding, can play in these tournaments with the same style as the PGA Tour. And obviously, there's not going to be teams. And PFT kept saying today, still no shorts for the PGA Tour. But I think, and I know you look like you're about to go off right now, but give me 1 second.
No,
I think
I'm good. I'm good.
the most people, or the not the most people, the people that need to be the most pissed is the people that stayed with the PGA Tour, and it's obvious. Obviously,
Why?
because they stayed loyal to the tour and didn't take the money they should have went and got with Live Tour or Live Golf, and they stayed loyal, whether it be for the tour or for themselves, mentally or however you want to think about it, and then they go and do this, or I guess they go and do this behind their backs. No one told them about it. The PGA Tour people, that I know of at least, and they're blindsided, tweeting about it like, "Oh, I just found out on Twitter." And I think they should be mad because they just missed out on millions of dollars. If you add them together, probably billions of dollars.
Oh yeah. Rory and Tiger
with-
alone, 1.3 billion combined.
Exactly. And I would assume some live golfers are going to get some sort of fee or penalty, but it won't obviously equal what what they made going to live golf.
I think that would
And
be bullshit, by the way.
I think the biggest blind side, getting a fee or penalty.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you'll get into it. I think the biggest thing is just the fact that they went behind the PGA Tour went behind their backs and did exactly what they were like. No, don't go and be with them. They're awful. They make you look bad. And then they're like, okay, we've been talking to them for 3 months, trying to get this merger together. We didn't tell you anything about it, but we're with them now. And I just was in shock when I saw it. Why don't you go ahead? You probably have a little bit more on it than I do. I don't know all the terms or anything, but
Yeah, so a couple points off the get-go. I get the point you're coming. I think the people who turn down money should be mad, but I don't think they should simply be mad that the leagues got merged and that they didn't get their signing bonus. What the fucked up part about that was that the PGA, and you touched on it at the end there, was like, it's bad for the game of golf if you go to live. It's against what the PGA believes in if you go over to live. It's immoral to take that money. Like, the PGA said to their players, that is against everything we stand for, and if you're a good person, you will not take that money.
yeah,
Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson said, yeah, fuck you. And here's
they
why.
were put into the ground
And
for
here's
going to
why.
live.
And this is why I don't feel 100% bad for the people who turn down money. And I'll touch on Tiger Woods specifically in a second. You think the PGA Tour is made of moral money? Fuck no. Half their sponsors are or companies backed by Saudi government money. Those guys sponsor the PGA Tour. Their name's plastered everywhere. Their investors are the Saudi Investment Fund. The Saudi Investment Fund, which is what runs Live, which is what merged into the PGA, it's like that BlackRock investment that you see all over talking about, like, oh, look at, of course, BlackRock is in this. BlackRock, it's a big old investment fund, and it's in everything. So the PGA saying that was smoke screens to try and get their players to not leave. They're cash cows, because that's exactly what happened. Yeah, Rory stayed, Spieth stayed, Tiger Woods stayed, but he was kind of falling apart. And him in particular, I get. He had some early on shakeups, morality-wise, with the whole wife thing. And then he came back and he was a hero again, and people loved him again. And he knew he wasn't going to golf much longer. He already had enough money endorsement-wise and everything. For him, $800 million was probably not enough to be hated by America after he finally rebuilt his image. So I get that. Rory should have said, "No, fuck you, PGA. What are you talking about, immoral? You take money from the Saudis just in a different way, through sponsorships, from other scummy corporations who have bad morals as well." The PGA is in no way to stand on the ground and say, "That's immoral, don't do it." Fuck that. If you're doing it for personal reasons, whatever. I know they're not good people. It is what it is, but that's subjective. The Saudis think they're good people. You know, we think they're bad because we're told to think they're bad, and because they do stuff like beheadings and don't treat women well and have done terrorist acts before. But money talks.
But
Everyone's greedy. There's greed everywhere. American oil runs just about all the company. Oh, by the way, our government, the United States government, number 2 trade partner, Saudi Arabia. Number 2. We're going to tell guys they're immoral for playing golf for the Saudi government? No. You got an iPhone made in China who's got bars on their window and suicide nets. The working conditions are so bad. Oh, inside that iPhone, materials from mineral mines in Africa where they don't care if you commit suicide because they'll just get another guy for cheap to go stick down in the mines and die of hazardous conditions. Clothes, shoes, sweatshops in Indonesia, India, China, all these places, it's all immoral. But sometimes we choose to care and sometimes we don't. And now we're deciding to do it on golf. You lose me there. I don't think there's a single common person who's talking about this on Twitter who would turn down hundreds of millions of dollars to go play in the LIV. I don't think there's a person who would turn down tens of millions of dollars to go. If the Saudi government called me right now and said, "I want you to go work insurance for us. We'll give you a $10 million signing bonus. You can work from home." Fuck yeah, I'm taking that. Sure, I might be a bad person, but I'm going to sleep a lot better at night knowing I'm never going to have to worry about money again. I can quit in a year depending on what the contract looks like and the signing bonus payback. This was guaranteed signing bonus money. You're dumb not to take it on those grounds because we live in a country where any financing over $1 million is dirty money. I guarantee it. It's all greed. It's all scum. It's all cheap labor, bad working conditions. It's ridiculous. And this is the one we're going to choose to be like, this is going to be the moral ground we stand on when our own government is our number 2 trading partner is this immoral country and capitalistic fund. They're in our oil companies. Half of our country is run on oil companies who work hand in hand with the Saudi government. It's crazy. What I think is going to happen with the league is it's just going to be backed by Saudi funding. It's going to be better for the game of golf. It's going to be same old, but with a lot more money involved. Higher tournament payouts, better equipment, better conditions, better courses, all of it. It's going to create a little bit of unity into what was a shaky sport. If you're worried about the morals, just forget about it. Or ditch your iPhone, ditch your clothes, sew your own stuff, and go back to living on your own accord because the groceries in your fridge, the clothes on your back, the shoes on your feet, it's all fucked. It's all fucked up. I promise you. I think...
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be a strong baseball transition.
I think the game of golf is going to be better off for this. The PGA's hands were tied behind their back. I don't think they wanted to do this immediately, but what happened was, look at the guys who went to the LIV. They're guys who draw eyes to the television. Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson for that 50 to 70 crowd. I mean, just look at Phil Mickelson's sponsorships. You'll know what his target demographic is. Bryson DeChambeau, just another guy who at least brought attention. He fell off when he went to LIV, but these are guys who make you sit down and watch golf. For an avid golf fan, sure, you'll turn on the TV to watch Rory, Jordan Spieth, Scotty Scheffler. But outside of Max Homa and Tiger Woods, who's slowing down and we're not seeing him as much, there isn't an electric guy on the PGA Tour anymore. There wasn't a guy who was pulling in that casual audience anymore. If you were watching golf, it's because you knew golf. You liked to follow golf. But no one was like, oh, I saw something about Brooks Koepka on Twitter. I should tune it in. Now, they weren't tuning into Liv. That's why Liv made the deal with PGA. But PGA's numbers plummeted because they didn't have the excitement factor anymore. All the guys who took the money were the bad boys of golf. People like watching they don't like goody two-shoes. They don't want to watch Spieth and Scotty Scheffler get into a handshake match on the green. They want Dusty Johnson ripping DJs in the bathroom. They want Brooks Koepka rolling his eyes as Bryson DeChambeau walks behind him. They want Phil Mickelson doing Phil Mickelson things. And when the PGA lost those guys, they were like, oh shit, we're back to just what golf was 10 years ago. And outside of Tiger Woods, people did not give a shit about golf 10 years ago. In fact, it got that big kick in like 2018, 2019, where it just picked up, and they're trying to keep strong, and the Liv sucked the soul out of the PGA for a bit, and they had to settle. In closing, suck it up. You'll be fine. Everything in life is scummy. If you really want to change, it starts at the government level. Again, number 2 trading partner with Saudi Arabia. If you want that fixed, get more involved in politics. I'm not talking blue and red. I'm talking clean sweep. Get them all out of there. It's all fucked. It's all greed. Tigers baseball. 4-game losing streak. We stink again. Injuries are rampant. Pitchers can't stay healthy. We had one good guy. He's out. We had one good hitter. He's out. It's all right. It's all right. I've simmered down a lot. I've realized that what we need to do is continue to play this way. Trade for pieces at the deadline. Hopefully Erod can fetch us something nice. Stick with Riley Green. And then you just got to figure shit out from there. Scott Harris is very new to this. And unlike most sports, unless you got an owner like Steve Cohen, who's proving right now that even spending hundreds of millions of dollars won't necessarily make you a good team, you can't turn a baseball team around in 3 to 5 years. It takes a lot. That being said, new prospect list dropped today. Jace Jung climbed the list. Colt Keith went from 96 to 30 in Baseball America's Top 100. So there's a couple Al Avila picks who might be panning out, but we'll wait and see, which leads us into this upcoming draft train. I believe it's in about a month. It's mid-season. Tigers jumped up from 6 to 3 in the first ever lottery, which was tough at first because it was a 2-player draft. But again, unlike other drafts, college baseball's been going on, high school baseball's been going on. Things shake up after that all happens. And although there's still a pretty stable 1-2, now there's a pretty stable 1 through 5. The way baseball drafts work too, after 5, those are names that you're going to go, what? Unless someone falls because of money issues, because it's you get a X amount of money to give signing bonuses to all your players. High schoolers typically want higher signing bonuses, or else they just say, fuck you, I'm going to go to college, which is also kind of crazy. You can get drafted and say, nope, go play 3 years in college ball. College hitters, they tend to sign a little bit more for around their value at the pick because they don't really have anywhere else to go, which people complain about in the later rounds. Some guys get screwed over. They get like $30,000 offers, but they're worth a lot more than that because what are you going to do? You're going to go back and play college baseball? You don't have eligibility. So I got a little bit of a draft outline here. I got a couple high school pitchers, or a couple pitchers, a couple hitters. It's right before the All-Star break.
Oh,
early
like
July.
month?
Yeah, about a month. Tigers are at 3. Max Clark is probably going to go number 1 overall. Oh, no, scratch that. I'm sorry. I keep getting these two confused. Dylan Cruz is probably going to go number 1 overall to the Pirates. Dylan Cruz is phenomenal. He's college hitter, which college hitters typically are more safe bets. Torkelson.
Porkmoff.
Saw how that worked out for us, but he was a first baseman. Dylan Cruz plays the outfield. He's got the tools. But again, this is just another thing that shows baseball comps. Like you look at Trevor Lawrence, they were like his best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck. And you're like, oh, Andrew Luck was really good. Most of the time when they say best prospect since, that guy was also really good. Dylan Cruz is the best prospect since Dustin Ackley in 2009. And if you don't know who that is, most people who follow baseball wouldn't know who that is. He had a decent MLB career, but he was not a 1-1 pick. But they're just saying that scouts viewed him like they're viewing Dylan Cruz right now as a can't miss, but it was a miss. He had a career, again, but it wasn't great. Dylan Cruz has speed, power, and he can control the strike zone. He's got it all. He's a 5-tool player. He's going 1-1. But here's the wrinkle. Here's why we're getting excited. Pirates do pirate things sometimes, and they get a couple extra picks because of compensation rounds and all of this. So what some teams do is they pick a lesser player at number 1 and give them a smaller signing bonus to give them more money to sign better people who fell in the draft. So more of a well-rounded approach instead of get one guy and give him whatever he wants to stay here. They might pass up on him. And if that happens,
Who would they pass up on?
they might pass up on Dylan Cruz to take a budget play.
Oh.
To save some money, to spend it later in the draft.
What's the order?
It's Pirates, and then I forgot already, and then the Tigers.
Nice.
You can... but...
I can...
MLB Draft Order 2023. They like to bury these things, though, because it's like... But... And the other thing with the MLB Draft that's tough is any other draft, these guys are ready to go. These are guys we might not hear about in 3 to 5 years. We'll pick him, you'll hear a lot, and then you'll probably forget about him for a bit. Nationals.
Yeah.
Nationals are probably going to take Paul Skeens, also from LSU. Regardless. They like pitching. They want pitching. Skeens, college pitcher, which, again, there's less risk in a college guy. High school guys always have that stellar upside that's super exciting. But then you fall into the Jackson Jobe type where it's
so
like...
LSU guys could go 1-2.
LSU guys could go 1-2, yeah. They're a wagon. Skeens kind of came out of nowhere, but he's phenomenal. He's got plus fastball. He is a two-way prospect, so he can hit, but he's got strikeout problems. So teams are probably going to make him focus on pitching. He'll take the Brandon McKay route. Got drafted by the Rays. He's not doing so hot, but they made him focus on pitching too. But Skeens will probably go 2, which might, if Pittsburgh takes a budget play, it might give us Cruz at 3. If they don't, it's set to go Cruz, Skeens, and this is where I get scared. And I'm scared because I've sat through 7 Al Avila drafts, and if Al Avila was picking, he'd probably go Noble Meyer out of Jesuit High School because he loved high school pitchers. But Chase Dolander's also just a Tigers vibe kind of guy. But at 3, it'd be tough. I'm excited to see Scott Harris draft. And if
So
Max...
you're thinking pitcher.
Well, that's just what the Tigers do. But if Max Clark is there at 3, oh my Lord, we need to pick him and give him whatever signing bonus he wants. He's committed to Vanderbilt, so you risk the pick Max Clark, and he goes, nope, fuck you, and he goes off to college. As with any of the high school guys, Walker
So
Jank.
if you go to college after getting drafted, is there like a amount of time where 3 years?
3 years, yep.
So he can play college for 3 years and then just go with the Tigers?
No, you go back into the draft.
Oh,
And-
after 2 years then?
Tigers, you'd play 3 more years of college ball and then you'd be eligible for the draft again.
Oh, so... Oh.
Unless you go
If you go
JUCO. If you go to a JUCO,
Yeah,
you
there'd
can
be
play
no
2 years.
reason. So if he went to Vandy, we're fucked.
Oh yeah. Well, you get a compensation pick next year. It'd probably be around like 5 or 6.
Oh, that's so bad.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it happened to the Mets. They drafted Kumar Rocker, and then they were like, "No, we don't like what's going on with your elbow." So they didn't give him any money. A first round pick. St. Braves did it with forget his name, but he was a high school arm, and they picked him. And then like, "Oh, your elbow's fucked. Your spin rates aren't what they were." They didn't sign him, and he's over playing in Japan or China now. But we want Max Clark. I think he's awesome. We're getting mocked Walker Jenkins a lot, which is like Max Clark is lefty, smooth swing, plate discipline, speed, contact, but he's got no pop. He's a 4-tool player and he doesn't have the power, but it can develop.
So they're both high school players.
Yes, I want a high school bat. I really do. I'm okay waiting a little bit.
Of course you do.
Wyatt Langford's got good power out of college. Good raw power, but I don't want to go pitcher. And Wyatt Langford struggles with breaking balls, which is frustrating. Give me Max Clark. Walker Jenkins maybe, but he's not as toolsy as Max Clark. You can see in the outline I sent you. I only put Noble Meyer on the list. I mean, he'll probably go top 10, but I wouldn't talk about him if I didn't. And it's Alavila in the back of my head. Take the young high school righty who's probably going to blow out his elbow in 3 years and have a 9 ERA in single A baseball. I could just it's Tigers history to take the dumb high school pick. Again, he'll probably go top 10. You'll hear Noble Meyer on draft night. I promise you. But I can't do it. If we pick Chase Dolander, we can live with it, but he's being mocked around 8-9. A lot of people think we take a high schooler. Hopefully it's Max Clark. If Dylan Cruz falls, that'd be phenomenal.
Max Clark, good name.
Great name.
To be fair, so is Walker Jenkins.
Also great name, for sure.
I think they're just both kind of. Man, even Noble Meyer, dude. Kind of. I mean, not as good as the first two there, but like I think those are good baseball names.
Yeah, I suppose. That's all I got for baseball. We'll jump into Wager Wheel. Last week, you bit no problems hitting your bets on the free play, and then bit on his MLB under respectfully. I continue to have an incredibly rough betting streak. Train, here comes your spin. All right. Oh. All right. NHL playoffs, Train.
Nice.
Any bet on the finals? It's all you.
I'm gonna figure out when the next game is.
And fuck. MLB away money line for Bick.
Oh wow. That's different.
Yeah. Let's see what we got.
Yeah. Now Hammy would like to take like player
score.
prop with shots on goal
shots.
or point score, like you said. But what I'm gonna do is something that's been kind of working with me lately. They've been scoring a lot of goals, and not specifically the Panthers, but the Knights. The over-under is at 6. I'm going to take the under. I think they just kind of lock up. Yeah.
Oh, the under.
Yeah, under 6. It's at a flat 6, so I could push. I don't know how many pushes we have on the wager wheel, if any, yet, but it's at 6, and I'll take that now.
Let's see. Away money line, huh?
Yeah, and this is for tomorrow. Wait,
This is
both of the games will be for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Kind of forgot tomorrow is going to be Thursday.
Yeah. Um, This is going to be my slump buster. This is what's going to get me out of this. Give me the Arizona Diamondbacks minus 140 against the Nationals. Merrill Kelly on the mound. Josiah Gray is pitching for the Nationals, which is a little scary, but Diamondbacks have been hot. Merrill Kelly's been good. Bach's going to be back. Arizona Diamondbacks money line minus 140. Under 6 for the NHL Game 3 of the finals. Train, any closing thoughts before we get out of here?
Gabe's wedding, going golfing Saturday. If you're listening to this before the weekend, let's pace ourselves. Let's get hammered, but make sure we get to the point where we can get there to the actual wedding. Start of a busy summer, so if we miss a week, I just took off so many days off of work. If we miss a week, I mean, you're not missing much. I mean, as far as sports are concerned, after the finals and after the NHL playoffs, it's gonna be the cruel time of sports.
Just baseball, baby.
So I know it's baseball, and we can talk baseball. I don't mind talking it, but you're probably going to be listening to Bark most of the time. Yeah. 19 subs. We added 2 since last time, and
get us to 20.
Ever since we've been begging for them, they've been coming. So I appreciate that. But if it works, obviously you're doing something right. So we can get one more. I'll check right now before we end just to make sure we're not at 20. But that's what I got, Bark.
Take your mom's phone. Take your sister's phone. Take your dad's phone. Nobody looks at who they're subbed to. Just sneak it in on their YouTube app. Everyone's got one. It helps us out, and it hurts nobody. Find a stranger. Be like, hey, can I call my mom quick? Take their phone. Go on their YouTube app. Sub to Always Bullin'. Fake phone call. Give it back to them. It's that easy. It's that simple.
Still at 19. Oh, we got it. We can
get us to 20. We got a big surprise in for you on that episode. Thanks for listening. This was episode 32 of Jux and All Things Sports podcast, presented to you by Always Bullin'. If you're listening to us on YouTube, again, please drop please hit the subscribe button, drop a like. If you're on Spotify, jump over to YouTube quick, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, jump back over to Spotify, drop a follow, give us a review. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being loyal listeners. If you got any questions, comments, or ideas, drop them on the YouTube video. Let's get some interactions going. And as always, folks, going into a busy summer, fist it.
He's right behind you, Buck. He fits it.
Oh, wow. He's KO'd.